Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chingonas y Chisme. I have an amazing, beautiful soul that I am so excited for everyone to meet. This is Miss Aminah Jackson. She is a dancer. She is a dancer, an educator, so many things. But the most important thing is that she helps women reclaim their power through Afro infused Latin dance somatic movement. And so, with all due appreciation, thank you for taking your time. So, I know you're busy because you got a lot going on right now. So,
Yes, thank you for
with
having
that
me.
being said, everyone, welcome, my friend.
Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you and your audience.
Yes. And so we're just gonna jump right in. But first off, let me fix this. This necklace is not doing anything for me today, but that's okay. We're gonna just work with it. It's all good. Please introduce yourself. Tell everyone like who you are, what you do, and then we'll move on to like the really fun, exciting like stuff that I'm really, really excited to get to hear all about.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Aminah Jackson, as you said. I'm known on the Instagram world as Minta Tumbao. Minta is a nickname given to me by my West African community. And then Tumbao from La Negra Tiene Tumbao. Got that while training and studying in Cuba. And I have that lyric tatted on my hips so that I never forget. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm originally from Los Angeles. I am Indigenous Mexican on my mom's side, African American, Haitian American on my dad's side. LA down, LA and Tucson. Went to school at Howard, HU, you know. Graduated my BA in African Studies with my minor in Spanish from Howard. Lived in New York, interned with dance companies like Ronald K. Brown's Evidence Dance Company, the Ailey Summer Intensive. And then I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Dominican Republic. I lived there before I volunteered. That's a different story. But yes, I served in as an education volunteer in VR. Then life brought me back to LA. Pandemic happened. Met my partner. My partner is New Yorican, Boricua. Then we moved to Puerto Rico. So I'm currently in Puerto Rico. I live in Loíza, which is the most Afro Boricua town of the island.
I love
And
it.
it was in Puerto Rico that I got clear on what was my offering to this world outside of being a professional dancer and an educator. I was on a journey for myself, going into 30, and that was my trip to Cuba for a month of just training every day and exploring what does it mean to be a Black woman? What does it mean to be a brown woman? What does it mean to
Mm-hmm.
be a sensual woman? And these were
Mm-hmm.
things that I didn't have guidance on from the matriarchs in my family.
Right.
I had the stereotypical Latino mother who don't talk about shit. Okay, you don't talk about periods, you don't talk about sex, you don't talk about any of that.
Yes.
So while as I
So
was
true.
my last month of 29, I said, listen, it's now starting to affect how I connect with my partner. I'm unsatisfied in life. It was more than intimacy, it was my satisfaction in life. And I knew it all stemmed from my my lack of clarity again of what does it mean to be a sensual feminine being.
Mm-hmm.
And so on my journey, I ended up sharing my findings, my practices, and women kept asking me for advice and can I put this in a course pretty much? And so
Mm-hmm.
it was in Puerto Rico that I had the space, not living in LA anymore. I had the beach, I had Mama Yamaya, I had Oshun right there. I had
Mm-hmm.
nature to help ground me and drop into me what the vision was. What was I supposed to be doing? And so from there, I started a 5-week course. It was like a live group coaching program. I did
Mm,
3 my first year. And my last one was for women 50 plus. And then from in that year, again, just sharing online, women who ran Black healing retreats for women in Puerto Rico would hire
yeah.
me to facilitate there. And then it was like, okay, well, you need your own retreat. So that's how it started, from a 5-week course to teaching on other people's retreats to you need your own retreat. And now 3 years later, I've done 3 of my own retreats, and I felt called this year. I typically do them in December, and I felt called,
Mm,
instead of doing a retreat in December, why don't we well, that's a different conversation. Why don't we try a co-ed space back home in
Mm,
LA, something that's accessible that people can get to, and then let that be a preview to a festival in Loíza as I part ways with Puerto Rico. So I said a
mm,
lot, but it was dance that led me to how can I help heal and guide other women to their feminine power and find balance now with the masculine and feminine.
mhm.
Boom. That's my
Yeah, no.
spiel.
That's it. That's the elevator pitch. We done. We good. No. No, and I do want to touch back too because again, like being for me too, being Latina, I Mexican, Puerto Rican, Mexi-Rican, like having that too in the family. We don't talk. You don't talk about sex. You don't talk about, your femininity. And also growing up like, you know, sexualized. And I've done a podcast before on like me being called grenuda because of my hair. Like I did a whole and also just being like, called exotic and how
Mhm,
people feel like they can just reach out and
mhm.
touch you because that is what our society has perpetuated.
Allowed. Yeah. Mhm,
Yeah, and so and it's interesting that you said 29 going into 30, me as well. I remember my 30th birthday. I was like, I want to take a girls trip. I've never taken a girls trip, and that's when I started, I think, to really drop into my feminine and exploring that. And it wasn't with same with you. Like I had I'm like, my mom's gonna kill me, but like I'm like born from an OG 16 and pregnant. Like, that was just like the culture. And so with that, like my aunts were also very young.
mhm,
So my aunts were more like cousins
mhm.
than, aunts. And so sorry, aunties. Uh, but I mean, it's the truth. So like I didn't really have like that. I didn't have the matriarchal, and also like my family came from the time of be white just to fit in, like be
Yeah.
as white as you can to fit in, right? It
Oh
came
yeah. Oh
from
yeah.
survival. And
Mhm,
so, and that is, and it is really hard to really reclaim that because when
mhm,
you start reclaiming your femininity as a brown woman, and I'll speak for myself, it's very hard because it can be seen very differently.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
It can be seen as provocative, it can be seen as asking for more.
mhm,
Um, and that's not we are just like loud and okay, again, I'm gonna speak for myself. But like I'm just who I live out loud, I'm happy, I love music, I love to dance, I love to be playful, and that is just my nature. That
mhm.
doesn't mean that like that gives anybody any right to come up and like try and touch me or try and
Exactly.
yeah.
Mhm.
So tell me more about your retreats because now I'm thoroughly intrigued.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that aspect of yourself. I had the privilege of guiding a lot of women, like I said, of all ages. I think the youngest was 16 that was in a pop-up. But in terms of the 5-week course, the youngest at the time was 29, and the
Mm.
oldest I've had was 72. And
Mm.
the story of being afraid, also dealing with women who have a history of sexual abuse, right?
Right.
And who are
Mhm.
survivors. And so I do understand the notion of I don't want to make myself a target, right? I don't want to draw attention to myself. And it's unfortunate that women, and speaking for black women and brown women, that is a thought because unfortunately it's a common story in families to hear about that uncle or that tío, right, that did some fucked up shit that no one wants to talk
Yep.
about.
Yep.
um and so we from young we grow up thinking, even the women in your house, your own family members, like, go put a bra on, or like, go, like,
Yeah.
oh, someone's coming over, go put on. It's like, what? I'm in my house.
Right.
What? Why should I put a bra on in my house? Because we suspect or because we don't want to entice a family member. Like that is bizarre. That is absolutely bizarre. Handle your shit, okay? Keep it together. So anyway, so
Yeah.
I understand that sentiment, and thankfully, I was the retreats, the courses. Yes, I want to say in a nutshell, like it's a person by person scenario, where I'm able to guide women to what feels safe for them
Mm,
with like what from what they've experienced, where they tell me they want to be, what their personal goal is, because everyone's goal isn't to live out loud, right? Some
mm,
woman's goal might just be, I just want to be able to go out dancing and feel free to dance.
mhm.
Someone else might be, I want to be able to wear that tight dress and feel safe. Like everyone's different. And so I what I
Yeah.
can say is I'm grateful that I found a way to connect with women person by person, even in a retreat setting, where whatever their idea of safety looks like and freedom looks like, we're
Mm,
able to access and then
mm,
set a plan, actionable, I call them anchors or pleasure practice that you can do in your day, that it's not one that remind you of that version of yourself, right? And it's not, I don't believe in needing a whole hour routine, right? To like, oh, okay, now I got to do this every day. It's not like going to the gym. It's like,
right.
no, these, you can literally, we can rewire our brain and rebuild um patterns of being from just a couple minutes a day.
Yep.
And so that's what I specialize in. Like, let's do some pleasure practices that can lock you in within one song length. I always get things a practice to a song. I'm like, get your playlist
Love that.
together. Here by the end of these 5 weeks, at the end of the retreat, you have these pleasure practices to choose from. All I ask from you to keep tapping in is to choose one song a day, choose one of those practices a day. That's it. And the consistency of it does wonders because my practices are chosen, that have been proven to rewire the brain, right? And so I get a little sciencey on that part. I gotta thank my partner for that because we research what are the best ways, the quickest ways, and the most effective ways to
Yeah.
rewire our brains in this light. So that's what the retreats are, and this it's going to be interesting with the event that we're going to talk about soon, bringing those practices to men as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, very very excited about that.
You
Got
know, like, yes. I mean, so, in speaking to a lot of women, and it's so interesting. Like, it wasn't until I'm gonna age myself. It wasn't until my 40s that like girl, I'm nearing 50. I can't believe I'm even saying that out loud. But I am.
That's
I'm
a
gonna honor
blessing,
it.
and
Like
congratulations. Yes.
it is a blessing and I feel great like for my age and I do feel very blessed.
Mm,
Um however, it wasn't until a couple years ago that it was like I really started to work on that masculine wound. And
mm,
I had thought like that I had really worked through it. And it wasn't until I sat in a temazcal led by a man and his son, which I was like, I'm not sure if I'm really comfortable with this at first. However, the way that he held space
mm,
did so much for. And then it was also another experience, that solidified it. An experience before that, I had a group of men in like leadership, and the way, and it was in a ceremony type sense, and the way that those men held space for women, really nurturing and caring. Can I
mm.
get you anything? Are you okay? That really started to like really tend to like that masculine wound. And then it wasn't until I sat in the temazcal where it was like, and so I think it's very powerful for you circling back to have men present because that can be very, very healing, not only for, people who have masculine energy wounds, but also for, men who have feminine wounds as well. Like,
Yeah.
I think, and it could be like, I don't really know. However, I think it's beautiful that you are doing that.
Thank you.
I really
Thank
do.
you. Yeah, it's definitely I wouldn't want to say uncharted territory. but in this way, a little bit. But what I do, I love to share that my partner, who's a 51-year-old man, who is New Yorican, grew up ex-military,
Mhm.
grew up hard, crack epidemic in New York, okay, Lower East Side, um, I'm very grateful to share that like everything that I bring to the community in terms of my teachings, we do first together. I do it with
Mhm.
him first. I bring him through it and get his feedback from his very unique lens and perspective and
Yes.
lived experience. And that's how we choose what makes the cut. It's like if I
Mm,
can bring him through and who also lives with PTSD as well from serving in two wars
right.
and has feminine wounds, we will say, then I know, okay, we got something here. And
Hmm.
so I'm very excited. I'm ready for him to help co-teach with me. He will one day. But so I'm like, they need
Baby
to
steps.
men, some men need to see someone like you from your experience leave these things and tap into this vulnerability, tap into to
Absolutely.
prioritizing wellness and healing and magic, we'll call it, like the
Hmm.
the the miracles that are and the connection that we've been given from our ancestors and spirit led every day. Like men need to see it from you.
Right,
so
right.
so we're getting there for sure. He is a
Yeah.
co-organizer on this upcoming event. But I'm excited because I know there's this whole manosphere situation, and I don't know if you're aware, but there's this whole thing where it's like I feel like there's been planted organizations or planted people to just encourage the divide between men and women, specifically black men and black women. And it's absolutely insane. And I've been a part of community where black men are just like, well, women, la, 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 la," and I'm like, which women are you
Mhm.
talking about? Because that's not the crew, that's not my community, because we don't think
Right,
like
right,
that. And then
right.
so talked to my partner about it. He was like, yeah, none of your women is very different than the women they're talking about. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like we gotta bring awareness to the women that are actually trying to change the narrative. And so this
Hmm.
space, and I pray it's one of many, as you said, it's important to for us to see our men be vulnerable and for the men to
Yes.
see women being vulnerable and to be in a safe space where together we are working toward the same thing, which is peace of mind, which is
Hmm.
connection to spirit and each other. We all want the same thing. And so
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Nervous, very excited. I'm sorry, there's a notice that keeps coming up on my phone. I don't know if it's stopping the recording
Nope,
or
you're
not.
good.
Okay, okay, okay. So this okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
you're good.
Was talking about
Yeah.
low device storage, girl. Story
Oh,
of a content creator. I always have low device storage, no matter what I do.
that's all good. It's all good. No, we're good. We're good. Yeah, and speaking about like even like yeah, like that masculine energy, and I mean, it's also too it's our environment, right? Like we encourage men to be like strong and to box up their feelings and not express, because if we are, if they are expressing, and I'm totally generalizing because I'm not saying all, however, it's the majority of, they box up their feelings, they put them away, we don't express, because if so, it's a sign of weakness.
Hmm.
And being a mom of three boys,
Hmm.
that was like, no, we're going to talk
Hmm.
about our feels, we're going to be in our feels.
Hmm.
And they hate it, and
Hmm.
I don't give a shit because it is uncomfortable. However, if they can start sitting with that uncomfortable, uneasy feeling on like, why are you badgering me about this, then they start to move past that, and then there's growth there. And
Hmm.
I think it's beautiful that your partner is willing to the elevate voices, elevate his voice in being vulnerable, and I mean, like, yeah, like I had to do some tough shit, and this is the way I was. I was built, made to be a robot. However, that's not the end of my story.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's not. The end of my story is going to be like being able to be vulnerable, because again, it's about connection. And if men aren't able to be completely vulnerable, then how is there a true connection?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And
Absolutely.
so,
And it comes up in other ways, and then we don't understand, like, where is this coming from? Sometimes in
yes.
anger, frustration, or them being prickly and pointing at you, and you're like, well, what is the root of that? If you
Yeah.
don't know, you don't know. If they don't share, right? But also
Yeah.
allowing them to feel safe, because yeah, I do know, I speak for women as well. Like, we also play into it, as you were saying. Sometimes we make men feel bad for sharing their fears, sharing their doubts, because we want them to
Mhm.
be the strong ones a lot of times and be the leaders in the head. But that's too much for anyone to carry. And
Mhm.
so being able to make a man feel safe in their humanness.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Yes. And too, I feel like there's so much, and I'll speak for myself, um there is so much power to be able to really, for a woman to really sink into their true femininity. And with that, there comes this strength of a masculine power, if that makes sense.
I'll let you keep going, and then I'll tell you what came up for me.
So like, because there are times in our life where we have to, you know, and again, I'll speak for myself. There have been times in my life where I've had to really sink into my masculine. My line of work, I have to
Hmm.
be in a very masculine energy all day long. And that is extremely exhausting sometimes, mentally exhausting. There have also been times in my personal life where I've had to step in to my masculine. And, that was partially like when I went through my divorce with my first marriage. That was, again, in my profession. Also, there were challenging times like in my marriage with my husband's health where I had to like hold shit down and
Yeah.
be very masculine in a sense.
Hmm.
And so for me, and then being able to, I like my envision is like taking off this coat, like this masculine
Hmm.
coat, and then just being able to sink into a very feminine space with my husband, because I feel so safe with him. It's like but it's that, I guess, in that deep femininity, it's like I know that I can step into a very masculine energy, and there's something kind of powerful about that.
Or I'm about to
Oh, I feel
I'm
like a
about to
little.
mess I'm about to mess you up for a second.
Okay.
And everyone listening. So, heard, felt, and I hear that from women all the time, right?
Mm,
I felt that way. I
mm,
sometimes still feel that way, but here's a perspective. And this is what the my 5-week course was born out of, was
mm,
debunking what we think and being in the Western world is feminine energy. Okay. So a lot of us have been fed this dainty Eurocentric version of
mm,
femininity. Soft girl, I just want to be kept. I just want to. Okay, cool. There's a space for that. But the version of feminine energy that I work with and teach from is the primordial energy of Oshun. Oshun is the Yoruba deity of feminine energy, and not the version in Lukumi or Santeria, but the actual version from Isheshe Ifa, right? The
mhm,
first.
mhm,
And the primordial version of Oshun, before she was incarnated as just like a river goddess, depending on, again, your tradition,
right.
and seductress and vanity and all those things. Cool, that's an aspect. But her primordial form, she is the womb in which the physical was birthed through.
Mhm,
There's the creator, source, whatever you want to call that, the one, Olodumare, God, whatever you want to call it.
right.
That's that energy. and which was always right. And then there was, okay, the physical, like putting matter, um, gathering the information and data and intelligence from the darkness, birthing the physical. Let's just call it Earth because that's where we're at.
Right.
That energy that allowed that to happen again, the womb that the physical came through in this tradition, in this cosmology, is ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So within that, both exists. The what we say feminine and masculine, right?
Right.
She is the darkness which holds the information for both. Now take it down to the version of Oshun that everyone thinks they know. Um Oshun, aside from being vanity and seductress and beauty and abundance, she's also a warrior.
Right.
She also has a machete,
Yeah.
and she protects her children. And so I
Mm-hmm.
broke down a framework I call Oshunology, which goes through four main stages of Oshun as an
Mm.
energy, and one of them is the warrior.
Mm-hmm.
How can you? That's the thing, the energy that, one, if your if a car fell on your child, that's like the strength to lift that car up, right? Or if it's
Mm.
the don't mess with my cub energy, right? That fierce
Right.
feline energy, that is also feminine energy. And
Mm-hmm.
within that is the ability to fight, to go to bat, to go to war for your dreams, the things that you say you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oshun also is the mother of the marketplace as well, the feminine energy. The marketplace in West Africa and Africa traditions, or even today, women ran the marketplace. What does that say?
Right.
They're the business owners. They're handling the
Matriarchal.
monies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So in the Western sense, we're like, oh, women, if we're business owners or serial entrepreneurs or all allow, we're in our masculine, we got to make things happen. And I say that is not true. There's a way to do it
Mm.
and be in your masculine. If you're trying to force, push,
Mm.
you are wanting to, you're coming from a place of more control, this is what it is,
Right.
versus let's work hard towards your dreams, but also allow the space for your intuition, allow the
Mm.
space for the magic, the miracles to happen, the manifestation practice. You're still owning 10 businesses. You're still the one providing for your household, but you're doing it in a grace, in a flow, which
Mm.
which allows you to be aware of your energy while doing those things. So I tell everybody, just because you are making things happen and you're about this money, la 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 la, does not mean you're in your masculine. You maybe you are, and that's why you feel this way, but you can still do those things and do it in the way that women tap into their
Mm.
masculine, right? Or tap into that warrior version.
Mm.
Because as we know, we men and women have both energies, but how a
Yeah.
man shows up as in the feminine energy is different than us. It's we get things confused when we're trying to emulate what a man, a born man's version of masculinity looks like, and
Mm.
vice versa when a born man tries to tap into the feminine energy that they see a woman doing.
Mm.
That is very different things,
Right.
right? Be your masculine as it shows up for you, not as society told you it looks like.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
long-winded answer to say the
No.
African perspective of femininity still has that warrior, that that business aspect too. Just
Yes.
do it in flow. Be aware of when
Mm.
to shift through energies. You may need to tap into your seductress energy in that meeting. You may need to tap into the tone of voice to seduce your audience, to draw them into your vision.
Mm.
But you're still leading that board meeting. Just things to think about.
No, that is no, that is very that's very enlightening, and I appreciate that. I really do. And I have talked about it before. Like I've read the book like Women Who Run with Wolves, and how yeah, we were like nitty and gritty and dirty, and like our hands were, in the dirt. And so it's just, yeah, it's interesting because it's like how we're raised. It really is. And I love that. Like I love that. I'm like, okay, now I need to explore that a little bit more, because I do, like, for me that is kind of like, for me it's like, yeah, my husband is kind of like I'm my own safe space, but however, it is just because I've found my partner, and it's like, okay, I can like just, it's almost just like just sinking into like a really big soft cuddly pillow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, but
Hmm.
yes, being like in that quote, like masculine energy, and we do, yes, I agree with you. We are in both powers all the time. And I think that that's where a lot of times things get misconstrued because we don't realize how we are in both energies, quote unquote energies, all the time. Um, and it's about recognizing that. And I love that. Like it comes with, yeah, like I have been told, like, you're so strong. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to do that. I don't know if I would have been able to keep going. And it's just like, you just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You just do
Yeah.
what you got to do.
Yeah. And there is still something to that too. It's like
Yeah.
what I had to bring myself through was how to turn that aspect off and be now, okay, say you worked your 12, 13 hours building your business or whatever profession, and now you want to tap into the energy that allows you to be intimate with your partner.
Hmm.
I used to have a really and sometimes still, like, I have a hard time turning that off because I'm like, "This gotta get done. It's a do."
Yeah. Yeah.
But allowing again, what anchors or what pleasure practices can I do that will shift my energy with the quickness, right?
Mm.
And so sometimes it's just being aware and then having enough in your toolkit. I call it my pleasure palace. Having enough
Mm.
in the palace to like, okay, I got 5 minutes to shower and shift my energy. What am I going to do? What's my practice in the shower? What's my practice as I
Mm.
put my clothes on? What's my practice as I before I walk into to greet my partner in the
Mm.
living room? Like it's it's having the awareness that a shift needs to happen and then knowing how
Mm.
to shift and calling in what you want before you get there so that you do end up living what you envisioned for yourself that night. Like I hate having a date night and like you can't get your mind off of
Yeah.
what needs to happen or being in the middle of intimacy and you're thinking about the laundry you have to do. And that's
Yeah.
a lot of us do that, right? Again, how do we turn it? Because
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that comes, yeah, it's like bottom line is that awareness. Like we have to really be connected. Like we have to be able to recognize like that. And a lot of times, even for me, like I'm even unaware that like my mind is like that I need a shift, and even like at yeah, yeah, it's just how it is. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. 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 I know sometimes when I can't sleep, I'm like, I just need to give myself 5 minutes just to dump. Just get my journal. And I literally will just write whatever. Sometimes I don't even write. Sometimes I just scribble. Sometimes there's scribbling and writing. Sometimes I mean, and whatever comes to mind, I just write it down. And see, for me, I gotta physically write it out because then that really makes me tired. So I'm like, I ain't wrote in a long time. This is exhausting. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that would be interesting. Writing in the dark, seeing what comes out. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to try that. All right. So let's talk about this event coming up. When is it? Where is it? What is it called? How do people find it? What's the agenda? What are we doing? Mhm. Mm. Mhm. Mm. Mm. There you go. Mm. Mhm. Mm. Mm. That's okay. Mhm. Mm. Mm. Love that. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. 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 Yes. Mm. I love it. Mm. Yes. Mhm. Mm. I love that. Mm. 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 Yeah. I love it. Mm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I'm so excited. I wish I was closer. Like, it's insane. I I know. I really wish I could. However, I have class, a mandatory class from the 11th through the 14th. I'm a little bummed. I know. But there's going to be more. I know there is. Yes. Okay. I'm going to try Santa Monica. I mean, it's a drive. It's a drive. It's a drive. And you know me and driving lately. I mean, it's just like a thing. I just to Texas and back. Let's go. Like, yeah. Yeah. A little kiki. Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it amazing how like that connection works? Like we can talk about that connection like just a little bit. Like I just happened to reach out to Denai, and then she was on my podcast, and then we've actually kept in touch since then. And we talk pretty much on a daily basis. And then that let us, yeah, that and I actually just met her like in real life maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so and then I'll see her this weekend. We have an event on Sunday, and then that led us to this having a cute little kiki last night, getting to know each other, and I was like, yes, I'll do anything to help, elevate because that's what this community needs. We need to uplift each other. We need to definitely uplift our voices, uplift, what we're doing in our community because that's the only way really like we're going to be able to make a little bit of change. A lot of change actually is a lot. I feel like a lot is coming. Like a lot is coming. No. Nope. At the end of the day it's all about community. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we did. Yeah. 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 Right. Well, and it's true, like the more division, right? There's we're stronger in numbers. And so the more that they keep us divided, then the further that they can keep us suppressed. And I feel like I truly feel, and I've said this for a while, I feel like there is a shift. There is a shift in, I'll say like maybe the atmosphere, how that we are really learning that we need to come together and we need to like rely on each other and build community together. And that's one of the huge things is for me, I say it a lot, community over commodity. And I love that. We are. We just are, period. Like I don't when did that change? I'm so confused. Loaded question. Mm, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Right. Right. Mm. Mhm. Right. Right. But I wonder if it almost awakens this remembrance, this epigenetic remembrance of like this feels right. Why does it feel right? I wonder. And it's just like it's like this little something that just kind of turns on. Yeah. That's okay. Yes. Needs. Yes. Yes. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I do. I love that. And even, yeah, like you talk about seeds, it's so true. Like, I mean, you definitely planted some seeds into me, and I'm like, okay, now I need to explore some stuff. And also, too, like, even having like conversations with people, like people who come and the way they receive, it is a seed. And it may not flourish with them, it might flourish with someone else that they're talking to. And then, or it might even come around. Like, I think, and I think that's just such the beauty of conversation and storytelling, right? Like, and connecting in this way, connecting in person, connecting like again, that's what we used to do. We used to sit around circle and share. And so I think it's beautiful that you're bringing this back around and you're creating this space to allow and also like the healing aspect, the remembrance, the reverence, the and again like reciprocity with the way you're giving back to community and you know like I'm not turning anybody away. Also that's what we clearly that's what we didn't do. However, but in a very different space. I love that. It's time. Yes. Mm, mhm, mhm, mm, mm. Right, right. That is spirit. Right. I'm not alone. Yeah. Mhm. It's so true. I think, yeah. At the bottom, at the very core of it, it's acceptance, community and love. Like that's, I think, at the core of it all. Like, yeah, I think so. I think what you're doing is so beautiful. Mm, mm, it's very true. Mm, mm, mhm. Yeah, I love it. Right. Mm, I love that. Yeah. Mm, so many ways. I love that. I love that. All right. So again, how can people find you? Mhm. Mm, okay. Yeah. Yes, let's get this work done. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, my friend, I really want to thank you for the time that you have spent with me. It has been such an honor, such a blessing. Yeah. 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 And look what this did. I mean, technically, I slid into your DMs. I can't say I've done that for many. I was thinking about that. I was like, I just never know. Yeah, I mean, this is yes, I love it. I love that. Yeah, even that this connection and this little kiki and this is not going to be the end for sure. Not at all. All right. Well, thank you again for, just spending time with me and having a little cute little kiki and talking about all the amazing work that you do. Like truly, it's absolutely beautiful that what you're doing. Thoroughly inspired. Thoroughly inspired. Of course. All right, everyone. Until then, until next time, like I always say, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and allow yourself grace. See you soon. Bye.